JT Smith for the TFON podcast here for season 3, episode 23. Here, I'm going to talk about a few things. As you know, today the Bearcats broke ground on their new facility. Um, my guy Neil Meyer, who I'm going to be bringing in a few minutes, he was there live. We just posted a few things up on the site. John Cunningham talking to the media. Larry Sheekley, one of the main, well, actually not one of the main, the lead donor of this new facility, this state-of-the-art facility, and then also football coach Scott Satterfield. So that's up on the site, up on the YouTube page. Make sure you guys subscribe and like, tell a friend to hit that up and subscribe. But I am going to bring in Neil Meyer in a few minutes, man. We'll talk a few things. As we all know that the Bearcats have a new basketball recruit as space was made available with Micah Adams Woods, the graduate senior guard, entered the actual transfer portal, and he went to, I want to say, St. Bonaventure. And then that's a whole different story. I've heard from a lot of rumblings that some people kind of lied to him on that, not on the UC side, but in the portal, which is kind of messed up, man. It's crazy. But with that, the Bearcats were able to get big man Aziz Bandaogo. Hope I said his name right. I bet you Neil will be able to get that right on the first try, though. But as you know, that he was a guy that had a double against the Bearcats in the NIT. Started off at Akron. Had his last 2 years, I want to say, was at Utah Valley. But he's a 6-foot guy, super ultimate rim protector, great rebounder, solid finisher at the rim. Somebody that's going to definitely help the Bearcats head into the Big 12. So we'll talk a little bit more about that coming up as well. But it's been interesting. I'll say it's been a good last 7 days for the Bearcats as a whole. The Big 12 is getting closer. Break ground on a new facility, get a new recruit. Been some rumblings that they're going to get a solid football recruiter. It seems like just from the other people posting stuff. So look like all is well. So we'll get into more detail with that in a little bit and just have fun and just doing a recap. And hopefully everybody checked out that the last one when we talked to the Nasty Natty for the basketball tournament, because that's coming up, and so that'll give people a little something of UC on alumni status between the season starting and football starting back up for real. So that coming up, and I know Smith League have some good stuff too. I'm pretty sure a lot of local guys are playing that as well. So I would definitely be on the lookout for that. Let's see. Oh yeah. I was gonna talk that with Neil, John, Jordan Brand. I knew it was something I was forgetting off the top of my head though. I appreciate you, my guy. I appreciate you. But it's been a good 7 days, hasn't it? I'll say, Jordan Brand back. People trying to have little jokes about that, but they had to do that because otherwise they would have had to still mess with Under Armour for another 2 years indirectly. So I'd rather get back in good graces with a top brand company like Nike and Jordan than we're Under Armour. So, I mean, you see recruits already were spilling the beans before stuff was coming out, right? I mean, that's, it's one of those kind of worst kept secret type things. But at the end of the day, recruits know. They know what it is. Nobody really, end of the day, UC is meant to be a Nike Jordan brand school. Stuff is going good. Especially basketball program. Kids, you look at all the kids that played on the team, all of them probably got KDs, Kyrie's, Jordans, Kobe's. Not saying they might not have a Steph here and there, but nobody really want to wear Under Armour, bro. Like, for real. Like, some people that do, but that ain't the first choice. Like, you're just keeping it 100. Like, if you don't care about shoes, like, you care about shoes, you got a shoe taste, ain't nobody asking for no Under Armours, because like it just ain't happening. Like, ain't nobody like, I really want some of those rock shoes, maybe, but ain't nobody I know ever said, man, I really want them rock shoes. And my people that I know like shoes a lot. It just ain't never happened. But you might hang with people that do. I ain't judging you, but that ain't my style. So Yeah, so it makes sense, man. Nike is a part of the culture. It's a shoe culture. Kids love it. It's easy. Hey, we may have to do that, man. I might have to use my connections to try to see if I can get him on there for like 10 minutes or something. Might be right. That might be a good one. That's legit right there, John. Because it's been one of those things where it was touch and go for real. Just a lot of like little intricate stuff. Like you would hearing this, and I would confirm certain stuff. So yeah, but we're here now. But yeah, I definitely need to see if I can hit up Lucas and see if he'll talk a little bit how that went down. You right. Cool. Let me let me get my guy in the game, and then we'll talk a little bit more. So I just don't get the rambling on y'all. So let's see, get my guy Neil in here. Yeah, but the Jordan thing is huge, man. So that's what people want, man. That's what the people want. Air just came out. Not just came out, but it's available on Prime. And people, whoever got Prime, check that out. It's a good movie. And black and red are the dopest Jordans normally. Like keeping it 100. So you see which one everyone's they pick, they're gonna be fire. So that's a win, bro. Like you get free Jordans to hoop plus NIL money. That's a double win. I know people right now that played around my time, like, man, I wish I could get that NIL plus or how much they be getting on the Jordan side, them shoes. It's crazy. The football team back with Nike, better in Under Armour. I'm telling you. You might lose a little tenth of a second off your 40 time with some Nikes on. For real. All right, I'm gonna add my guy Neil in a second. He'll be in a little bit, but I'm geeked about the Nike thing, man. Nike Jordan thing has been one of the things I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, but couldn't. Now we got free reign. You know, Coach West, he was out here thugging. He was out here with the gear on before it was announced, wearing Jordans before it was announced. So it was hard to keep it legit secret. We weren't trying to get our be like Barstool. Barstool dropped it all super early, like they had the inside sight on it or something. Like, bro, you just went against the etiquette. That's how that was. Whoever run that site, they went against the etiquette. So, but it is what it is. So everybody's showing them love, but they ain't dropping none of people. And the people that is around these circles didn't know already. So it is. I'm just had to get that off my chest.
What's going on?
Yo, what's happening?
What's happening?
Not much, man. Not much. Just rapping a little bit, rambling. Nah, but I was just touching on, all the new stuff, man. As my guy John said on here, Jordan brand Nike, new practice facility, like no health wellness facility, Big 12. Let's see what else we got. Aziz. I know gonna know how to say his name the right way the first time, so I want to see how you do it. Yeah, I said it wrong. I said Bandaogo. So you said Bandaogo. Yep. So you got it right the first time. But yeah, man. So we'll talk about, you were at the opening, the groundbreaking event today, with the new facility. Now I told everybody to make sure you go check out the video and everything that you posted. But what was it that, like, I know everybody's seen all the pictures. Everybody's, in the pictures know how it's going to look, but like, what impressed you the most, or like, what did you take from this event today that you were there live at?
Yeah, so you're taking away the things that really stood out to me. Was obviously, this was something I asked John Cunningham about, was obviously going down to TCU's facilities just in March when I was down in Texas. We saw the facilities at TCU. They're all state of the art as well. And then, if you follow the Big 12, Oklahoma's got great practice facilities.
Yeah.
Texas just has a $85 million practice facility renovation not too long ago. So then that was something I asked. I was like, hey, did you look at any of the Big 12 schools when you were designing this process? And what really was unique was we know the architectural history here within the city of Cincinnati, not just the University of Cincinnati, but the city as a whole. And John Cunningham's response is what really stood out to me. Was he said he wanted to make his own. He said, I think what makes it special is the architectural history here at the University of Cincinnati. We're going to make it our own. It was about the look when you first hit that corner of the campus. It's really going to pop and stand out. And that's just how we do things around University of Cincinnati. It's going to be really special. So you think about that aspect there from that quote. I mean, anytime you hit the corner of, what is that, Jefferson and Corey, all you're going to see for maybe a mile to come is $134 million indoor practice facility and health and wellness center. So you got to think, if you're off campus or you're coming by there, that's going to be the first thing that many people will see that'll stick out to recruits, visiting teams, coaches, players. That's going to be the first thing that stands out, and that's going to draw a lot of people into the University of Cincinnati. But this was a practice facility that I think the original budget was, what, $88 million or something like that?
Sounds about right. I feel like it was definitely under 90.
But you're thinking back now, it's $134 million practice facility and health and wellness center. That's roughly 1.5 times the original plan. Like, I was just talking about this on the At Large Bid podcast with Ryan Roberts earlier tonight. You look around college football, you're not going to see many $134 million practice facilities in the health and wellness center around college football, and that's in all of the country.
True. No, that's stepping up with the big boys for sure. That's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, because you know how it goes. You see all these, the top programs got the top facilities at the end of the day. You look at Ohio State, you look at LSU, Bama, Florida, those schools, USC's and Texas's. I mean, Texas, they're
you can even throw
top program, but they've been kind of iffy lately. But
you can throw Arkansas into that mix as well.
But when you got in the big conferences, you got big time facilities. So that's what brings people there. At the end of the day, gotta spend money to make money, as they say. So, pretty dope to see that. And then also, man, I'm gonna tug you a little bit about you went to the Cincy Reigns presser last week. Was last week? All my time is kind of running in, with Ryan Geist about the new lager, man. So how cool was that to just kind of see that, and then that's helping with the NIL situation. I know I strung this on you last minute on this one, but I was like, hey, so we'll have to talk about it.
Yeah, man, it's awesome to see, not only just for the University of Cincinnati and what Brian Fox and that Cincy Reigns team is doing, but it's awesome for the city of Cincinnati. I mean, it's something many people, and I can say this for all of Bearcats fans, we know how badly they have been wanting a Cincinnati-style beer for many years to come now, ever since the first partnership came out with Ryan Geist back in 2013. But now you're thinking about it, and not only do they have this NIL collective with Cincy Reigns partnering with a local brewery in Rheingeist, but the fact is it's something so unique. Like, I think there's only maybe like 3 other schools across the country that have partnered with breweries or distilleries within their NIL collective. So it's a route not many universities and programs have taken. And you think about what it's all being able to do. Everyone has saw the pictures by now, more than likely. But when you first walk into Rheingeist now, on all the distilleries, they're going to see the Cincy Reigns logo. And for people who don't know, since the Rheingeist downtown is actually the 23rd largest brewery in the nation. So it's not only just a driving factor of, hey, this is a great idea to get your brand out there for this NIL collective, but it also helps out Rheingeist just due to the amount of foot traffic that they bring in on a constant nightly basis. So, but it's huge. And I mean, you're looking at the can design roughly. It's literally outside like outline with the Cincy Reigns logo, like the whole design Cincy Reigns used for their logo. It's the same formatting, the same designs for the Cincy Light can. But then you also, like, once you look at the can straight up, you will see up top, it'll say Cincy Reigns, Rheingeist, and right in the middle, you'll have a Cincy Reigns logo. So not only do you get to have your name of your NIL collective on a beer can and in the local distillery, but it's also a great opportunity to really benefit off of that, because let's be honest, everyone knows how much Bearcat fans love to tailgate. They like to party. We've seen it. Let's be honest. We've all seen it. But it's going to be great, and it's going to be hitting stores right before the inaugural Big 12 season, which is even better. But it's also, I think the thing is that drew my attention the most for the Cincy Light can, and for people who don't know, it's going to be a light lager, like 4.2%, 110 calories. So it's going to be a little light lager. If you're into that stuff, great. Would recommend doing it to support these student athletes and everything that Brian Fox and Cincy Reigns is doing. But the most unique feature of the can, in my opinion, was the QR code on the back. You scan the QR code and it'll take you to Cincy Reigns' website to learn more about the collective. So it's not only just a huge advertising opportunity, it's an opportunity to where they're using a design or a feature that not many people are utilizing in that industry to really benefit, and people will be able to learn more about the collective. So I think that was awesome. And then for people who do buy the case, $2 from every case will be going back to Cincy Reigns for the student athletes. So,
Nice.
so it's perfect. I think it's a great partnership, and I think it's going to do great things for these young student athletes. And Brian Fox is going to get the ball rolling with that process.
No, that's legit, man. So I wanted to go ahead and definitely let you talk about that, man. That's definitely a pretty legit thing. My man John says OSU blogs already talking about they need their own beer. You see trend setting. Now it is trend setting, man. That's legit. I mean, everybody drinks. I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people consume, especially at football games and basketball games. So I think that's legit, man. Then they got their own beer. It's a win-win. Can't beat that. So talk about that. And then, all right, cool. So, man, good? Mm-hmm. All right. But yeah, so with, Micah Adams-Woods went in the portal. So that left a spot open. And he went to St. Bonnie's, right?
Yeah, St. Bonaventure.
Okay. I talked about that before I let you in. But Aziz coming to the Bearcats, man. With me, I feel like it's just real good move, solidifies their post presence, makes them that much better on defense, makes them that much more athletic, makes them, be able to fit in the Big 12, plus the other people they've gotten out of the portal. What do you think about this move of them getting Aziz in the portal, and as a guy they played against a couple months ago, and then now having him in the black and red seems like a very, 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 very good move.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge addition, and for many reasons, obviously, and the biggest one was Wes Miller and the staff got a great up close and personal look in the NIT loss to Utah Valley State, where he finished with 15 and 12. But Aziz,
didn't he have like 4 blocks too, or 2?
Yeah,
no,
3 or 4 blocks too.
Yeah,
like he was all over the place, and he affects the game in many ways. Like we talked about it earlier. I mean, if you look back at the development that Mark Madsen made in Aziz over his first 2 seasons within college athletics or college basketball. Obviously, his freshman year, he averaged just like 4 minutes a game, if I remember right. I might be wrong. But then his first year at Utah Valley State, because he's a 2-time transfer, if I remember right.
Yeah. He was at Arkansas first. Yeah.
Yeah, his last season, he averaged like 4 points, 5 rebounds a game. And then this season, all of a sudden, he's a double-double monster. So then you bring him in with his ability to score and rebound the ball, averaging 12 points and 10 rebounds a game. Anytime a guy's averaging a double-double, you know what you're getting out of him. But then you have a guy who's putting up 3-4 block shots a game, average nearly 3 blocks a game. That's huge. And obviously, you pair that alongside with guys like Victor Locken, Odioguama, Jamil Reynolds. Like the Bearcats front court, it's going to be nasty and physical. Not just with Aziz, but we also got a great up close and personal look at Jamil Reynolds just quite a few times as well. We saw him here. I think we actually talked about him, JT, on our Bearcat Tip-Off Talk podcast.
Yeah. He was balling. He was definitely an unsung hero on that team.
He is definitely every bit of that 6'10", 280. I can tell you right now, every bit of that. I saw him down in Texas at the AAC tournament. I actually saw him out in public before he did it walking on the streets down there after the AAC tournament. And yeah, he's every bit of that 6'10", 280 frame. And he's going to match up with Victor Locken and Odioguama and Aziz Bandaogo very well. Like that's going to be a solid front court. And that's what people think. Like if you look down at this roster, this might be the tallest Bearcats team in 5-10 years back to the Mick Cronin era.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because you got Victor Locken, who's 6'11", Odioguama, who's 6'10", then you bring in Aziz, who's 7 foot, and then Jamil's 6'10". Yeah. So not only do you bring in the big bodies down low, but you're bringing guys with great length, can do a lot of different things. I know Wes has talked about in post-game press conferences throughout the season of developing that mid-range jumper for a guy like Victor Locken, getting him to expand that shot out to the three-point line a little bit. So if they can do that and Victor can develop that here this offseason, it's going to be a fun time to watch for those bigs.
For sure.
Made the transition to the Big 12, but everyone knew going to the Big 12 they were going to have to recruit and get some bigs. Everyone knows how physical the Big 12 is, especially this past season. We saw it with TCU with Eddie Lampking before he transferred. We've seen it all throughout the Big 12 of how important bigs are.
Yeah.
But we also see the guard play as well. So then you bring in the guys like CJ Frederick. You bring in a guy like Simas Lukosius. And those are two big additions. I mean, we've seen what CJ Frederick was able to do when he's healthy. Obviously, the stint at Kentucky didn't play in his favor because he had some untimely injuries. But there were injuries that were freak accidents, to say the least. And then Simas Lukosius is coming off his best season of his career at Butler, a 42% three-point shooter, averaged 12 points a game. Like, this team's going to be fun to watch. They're going to have the great length. They're going to be able to cause havoc on the defensive end. They're really going to be able to space the floor, open things up for those bigs down low. And they knew what they were going to have to do heading into the offseason, especially after you lose your top 3 scorers with David DeJulius, Landers Nolley, and now Jeremiah Davenport heading to Arkansas.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. John, Will, they definitely got some trees, man, on them for the move. They got some trees, they got some size. They will not get punked in the paint this year. That is for sure. I would be highly shocked if that happens. And I'll be willing to bet a couple bucks on that they won't get punked in the paint. John, only concerns PG experience and perimeter defense. Will Newman be healthy? I think Newman's trending on the right direction. He's been doing a lot of stuff. As long as he gets that medical red shirt, or so he could play, I think he will be fine. Perimeter defense, I'm not really concerned about perimeter defense because you got people that can clean it up in the back end. You saw what Healthy Vic did last year, and then you add Aziz and Reynolds. You add Aziz and Reynolds to what they have. I think they clean up a lot of mistakes. So I think if they just stay disciplined, I think they're even though they are inexperienced at point guard, they're more athletic at point guard this year, even with the guys, them being new people. So like you got Day who is explosive, physical, Just a guy that a lot of people are high on, and it's not a fluke. And then you got Jizzle James, who is, it's in his blood. Like his dad's a Hall of Famer. This young man is super athletic. It just makes sense because you got two guards that are super athletic. That's what you're used to seeing as a Bearcat point guards, mostly athletic, strong people that can get their shots off, and that's what these guys are. Will there be some? I don't know. I mean, I think what I'm hearing from Day, I don't think he has a tell. I think he kind of gets the ball running from the beginning, honestly. But even somebody said this. I want to say maybe Coach Cam might have said this, but in general, you can live with Day and Jizzle's mistakes because they have such a high upside. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, especially with this team being so formidable now. Like I think they have like a very good, well-rounded team. So if the guards come to play, if those point guards come and play, and are ready from the jump, then I think this team could really take off. But I think honestly, like no dig at Micah. I mean, he did his thing, but I think in the Big 12 with the athleticism that was going to be on him nightly, I don't think that would have been the best. I don't know. I don't know how that would have looked. I think I'd rather have who the guards are right now, honestly, just because I feel like those guys are more athletic. And even if they struggle at first, I think they can adapt because of their athleticism. And that's a hell of a tool to have, man. Trust me. Like, you're step slow or can't explode over somebody. Can't explode over everybody, but it's just that little bit of extra athleticism can help you get your shot off. So it's just our ability to make that pass. If I project the lineups now, all right, let's see, John. I'll do mine. I'll let Neil do his, just in general. Okay, so I'll say projecting the lineup.
I think JT lost some connection there, so I'll jump in and go ahead.
Nah, it kicked me out for some reason. I don't know. My computer did me dirty, but I'm back. I'm back. Nah, but all right, I'll go first. My bad. We'll go. Day starting at point. I'll say Simon's at the 2. No, maybe 3. I'll say Dan at the 2. Going Day, Dan, Simus, Vic, in Day, Dan, Simus, Vic. Do I want to go Aziz? I'll go Aziz.
But yeah, so before I give my starting lineup, I'll touch John on the perimeter defense because I feel like this is a topic that not many people are talked about, especially this offseason. Everything in terms of perimeter defense, I think they're going to be fine because you're looking down the roster. I know JT's probably touched on a couple of these guys like Dan Skilling's length, 6'6". We've seen the crazy length that Dan Skillings has had with his athleticism. Then you bring back, if John Newman does get that medical, you bring back John Newman. And then you also got to think of a guy not many people are talking about right now and he's working extremely hard this offseason based on the stuff we've seen on social media, and that's a guy in Josh Reed. And that's a former top 100 prospect as well. So I'm very curious to see the role of Josh Reed, a 6'7", big, long, lengthy defender as well. So the perimeter defense, I think this season. Then you also throw Rayvon Griffith, into the conversation as well. I mean, another 6'7" guy who's probably not done yet growing, could probably add a little bit more onto him as he gets older a little bit. But then the perimeter defense, I think it's not going to be the worry as what many people think, just because of you're looking down at the roster. I know what the main Michael was about 6 foot. David was a lockdown defender at 5'10", and then you're looking down. Now you're having a point guard in Day who's 6'1". Day will match David Julius's energy, in my opinion, based on the things I've been able to see. Jizzle James is going to fight for a playing time right away, probably in my opinion as well, just based off what he's been able to do on the after this huge senior season he just had. I mean, we just saw what he did at the Iverson Classic.
Yep.
Put a lot of people on notice, especially during his recruitment. So Jizzle James is coming off a hot AAU circus, but CJ Frederick's a guy who's 6'3". Simus is 6'7". I mean, Simus had a great season at Butler, but overall the perimeter defense, I mean, if you look down, CJ Frederick's had great stretches defensively in his career. He's also been very great in terms of scoring the ball. So Simus Lukosius, that's going to be the one we'll probably have to take a more deeper look into on the defensive end. I haven't seen much of him on the defensive end. I haven't watched as much film as the rest have, so I'll take the fault for that one. But if you had to tell me right now my starting five, I would agree with JT with Day at your one. I think my two would be CJ Frederick at the second point guard role. My three, I would go with Simus, and then my two bigs, I would pair Victor Locken with Aziz. That would be, and then but you could rotate guys like Dan Skillings, John Newman, right there off the bench. You could rotate those guys in there right away, or if they even play big bully ball and you put a guy in there like Jamil Reynolds at a 4, Vic at a 4, like wouldn't be surprised if they swap every now and then. You see Victor and Jamil flip-flop, but you never know. It all depends on the offseason they have. Obviously, they have some big plans for both of them. But if you had to ask me my lineup right now, I think I would go with Day at the 1, CJ Frederick at the 2, Simus at 3, Vic at 4, and Aziz at 5.
It's fair. It's fair. Yeah, I think they both make a big leap. I think you saw the leap that Skillings made. My fault talking what John said. Skillings made a big leap from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, where you start seeing him do stuff and make finishes that he wasn't doing at the beginning of the year. So I feel like it's just going to go up. And I think like Reed's playing time wasn't as consistent as Skillings, but I feel like he did show flashes. At the end, he kind of faltered a little bit, but I feel like at the beginning, he showed a lot of promise. I feel like with him knowing that he's got to work and he has the skill, I think he's going to make a big jump where he's a consistent player when his number is called, because he has the tools. I think he could be like, to me, with this current team, I think he could be that guy that could be like the small ball 4, just because he can stretch people out, and then he's a lefty, so it's hard to figure out a lefty's game. So that always goes into your favor. So I think him being able to shoot it, if he can stay consistent with a 3, and then he's always been a guy that seems like he's around the rim. So I think with just more development and just being more comfortable and finding his shot or finding what he has to do to help you, it might not be scoring, it might just be in energy and playing good defense. But I think he's going to make a big jump. I think this year, if I was willing to bet, I think those two make huge jumps. I think it's going to be hard to keep Skillings off the floor, even with all the added talent. So I just think he's going to be able to do a lot and bring a lot, because even in those games last year when they were playing Houston, Memphis, he was the guy that each game he played, when he played aggressive, he was like he fit, he belonged as a true freshman. So and he's not even close to being a finished product. That's the scary part. For other teams, good for the Bearcats, scary for the people that had to play him. So,
yeah, and another thing, JT, we talk about these bigs and Jamil Reynolds and Aziz Bandaogo, and then Victor Locken and Odi Iguama. I think we saw what, for people who don't know, is Coach Roberts predominantly handles the bigs on Wes Miller's staff. And the thing I'm most excited for is we've seen what he was able to do with guys like Victor Locken and Odi Iguama. And from year 1 to year 2, we saw the upside and the development that they were able to do and make that jump. But now adding a guy like Jamil Reynolds and Aziz Bandaogo to that already talented front court. I mean, I'm very excited to see what Mike Roberts has in stores for both of those two big men. I don't know about you, but I think that combination down there of those four guys, it's going to be very exciting to watch.
No, for sure. No, it's a lot of talent down there. I mean, you're not even talking about Sage, so it's like, you know, like he gets time to develop, no pressure. I think now, you know, so like that's good for him. And then maybe he develops faster. He gets, you know, because you playing against those guys is nothing you can't get. You playing against talent. Talent makes you better. You know what I mean? So it's just how it goes. He's either going to sink or swim. And I think it's going to help him, especially having a whole year in the system. So I think it's a win-win, man. It's just at the end of the year, did you think the roster would look like this?
No, I did not. I did not think that at the end of the year. I mean, we obviously knew of the one going in the portal more than likely.
Yeah.
We all saw that one.
Yeah.
Then you see David's out of eligibility. You see the whole Jeremiah. Was kind of no one knew what was going to be next and then Landers not only had the option to come back and then he's choosing to stick to that NBA route.
Yeah.
And he's already had 4 workouts with teams. So you look at that route and then Jeremiah transfers to Arkansas.
Yeah.
And then you kind of see like, hey, you see these guys go in the portal. Like if you would have asked me if Aziz would have been in the portal after what Utah Valley State did, I wouldn't have expected it. But yet again, then he also was in the position to see where his head coach left for a new gig.
Yeah, true.
So,
true.
And that was a guy who developed that Utah Valley State team. And that was a Utah Valley State team that was pretty dang good, if you ask me. And I know people are going to look back on it and was like, yeah, we lost to Utah Valley State. But you look up and down that roster, we've talked about it before.
All right.
There's 3 or 4 guys on that Utah Valley State that could be playing mid-high D1 basketball. For sure.
No, they had some ballers. Had a few ballers for sure.
But if you would have asked me maybe 2 months ago when the season ended, if they would have went out and had a absolute splash like they did in the portal this season or this offseason, I don't think I would have projected it. But it's trending in the right direction for sure. And it's just going to get back to the old school Bearcats basketball where they like to get inside. They like to be active. They like to be physical. And that's what you need heading into the Big 12.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be able to dump it inside this year more than, I mean, you saw the development of Vic, but like he won't have as much pressure. I think that's going to make it even better. And, you know, he has that skill set like where he could possibly shoot that face up jumper. And if he gets that rolling, it's going to get real crazy. But, yeah, man, you talked that. Aziz coming. Oh, yeah. Okay. So football, you know, we saw a picture a couple days ago that had 2 Bearcats, but how did my man quote it? That Bearcats, how did he quote that picture? Had 3 people, two for sure that are already with the Bearcats and 1 that's in the portal.
Yeah, that's 1 that's in the portal. So I mean, it was, for people who don't know what we're referencing, it is it was the pictures of Jordan Young, DJ Taylor, and former Florida wide receiver Xavier Henderson, who is still in the portal. For people who don't know who Xavier Henderson is, he was a former 4-star recruit. He's the brother of NFL cornerback CJ Henderson, who was a top 10 pick a couple years back. But it was all the Bearcats hanging out at the DJ and Jordan Young were out. They were at the Black Athlete Student Association out in LA, and there was a picture quoted saying #Bearcats. So just some speculation going around there.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of fans were seeing that picture. Obviously, it made its rounds on social media. JT, what did you think of that?
Nah, man, I think it's pretty cool. Hopefully that it comes to fruition. You know, it seems like his homies are trying to get him to become a Bearcat. Because you get a 6'3" receiver, I'm cool with that. Because, I mean, no knock. We've been getting a lot of little guys. So I'm excited to see if they can get somebody that got a little size that'll make me feel a little bit better. You know, yeah, I'll be happy. So former 4-star, and we just got to make sure if he does come around that we keep the hooks of everybody else off of him. You know what I mean? But but that I'll be ecstatic if they get Henderson, man, because he was one of the more talented people on Florida's team. So I think hopefully he can reunite with Emery, and then they can make some magic in Clifton. So we shall see, man. Just all speculation. And then John, the UCD line is Big 12 ready. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I think the defense as a whole is Big 12 ready. Honestly, it's just gonna be on the offense, man. If the offense can be semi-explosive, I think the Bearcats will shock a lot of people. I think the defense is gonna be fire, of course. And I think with the way Brian Brown calls it, he's real aggressive. He's going to try to go after the quarterback. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And they got some people that can get after the quarterback. So I think defense is not the Bearcats' worry. It'll be just can they score points. So the portal will be important, and then just the kids are already in the fold, developing, and being able to shock the people will be important because, yeah, points is what makes me nervous right now. Defense don't make me nervous. I think they'll be able to keep them in the game, but if the offense can score average in the high 20s, I think they'll be legit. So I don't know. I don't know if you feel that same sentiments or not, but I think if they can average on a consistent basis the high 20s, I think they can win more than their projected their gambling line. That's for sure.
Yeah, the defensive line, John. There, it's ready. Obviously, anytime you can return a 6-year guy with Malik Van, then you bring back Jawan Briggs, and then we've seen the growth of Dante Corleone, who is now a preseason All-American, Walter Camp All-American. We saw what he was able to do last year. Anytime that defensive line returns 3 starters from a season ago, and it's going to be substantial. And we know what Brian Brown is dialing up as a defensive coordinator. We know he loves to bring the quarterback, and then you add a guy to like Daniel Griziak to that mix, and then you bring in Dorian Jones from Louisville. It's going to be a fun time. They're going to do a lot of different things. It's going to be a fun time. It's just going to be a very fun time. They're going to get to the quarterback. It's going to be fun to watch.
For sure.
Now, how are we feeling about the offensive line? I would feel pretty good. Obviously, it's not like it was a season ago where you had returned a whole offensive line that won 2 conference championships now. But we're returning just one guy from the offensive line from a season ago, and that's Gavin Gerhardt, who was on the starting offensive line due to the injury to Jake Renfro from a season ago. But overall, I think the offensive line, that was like a big focus this offseason. Obviously, they went out, they got Luke Kandra, they got Philip Wilder, they got Trevor Radozovic, they now get the kid from Kentucky. They're getting the depth, and that's to say the least. And it's always great to have depth within that offensive line. I mean, we saw it last year firsthand when Jake went down right before the Arkansas game and wasn't able to come back from the injury. And then you look back, those nicks and bruises are going to come throughout the season. It's a long season. They're battling each and every day, and especially versus a defensive line like that with Malik, Dante, Jawan, Daniel Griziak at times, and then Eric Phillips off the edge. Eric Phillips had a great season last year, really started to see more playing time as the season went along. But if you throw that out there, it's going to be a fun season. But obviously, the offensive line depth is going to be key heading into the Big 12.
True. This is true. Cool. Yeah, Pace is definitely going to be like a Swiss Army knife guy this year. That is for sure. For sure. So,
that'll be a very fun transition to watch for people who haven't seen it yet. It's going to be a very fun transition to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. So, see, I think we new facilities, Henderson. We talked Cincy Reigns, Aziz. We talked Jordan Nike. I think I talked a little bit earlier, but did we talk Jordan Nike together?
Yeah, we did.
We did. Yep. I think we did that early. So boom, did that. So it's been a lot of good stuff, So make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. Whoever's watching this, listening to it, subscribe, hit up the site, follow me and Neil. Always giving out new consistent stuff. So give it a look, man. I think we'll probably do like a break down a new roster. I think I'll do like a piece of that. Maybe I'll do something by the end of the week.
For those who haven't checked out all the latest stuff we worked on, last week we dropped a special episode of this podcast with Kevin Johnson, Coriante DeBerry, Troy Copain, talking some TBT action with the Nasty Natty squad. So if you guys haven't checked that out yet, make sure you go do that. Obviously, the TBT is back this summer. It's going to be a fun time. Kevin is building an absolute squad to go back and compete for that $1 million process. So it's a great time. So if you haven't checked us out, make sure you continue to do that. And John, yeah, it's always popping, always something. So it's a great opportunity though. So if you haven't checked out all of the podcasts, I definitely suggest you do so in the process, whether that's the Locked On podcast with Alex Frankie, our At Large Bid podcast, this podcast. If you haven't checked them out, make sure you do so in the process.
Do that. Make sure y'all do that, man. Check my guy out. Holding it down. So yeah, that's definitely. Oh yeah, I saw Corey today, man.
Really?
Yeah, yep. Talked to him for a quick second. So yep. Yeah, it's legit. So yeah, man, make sure y'all do that, man. My man Neil's been holding it down. Make sure y'all follow him for sure. Show him some love. He's been grinding, putting in that work. So that's how we gonna end this pod, man. I think we touched all the new stuff, touched on everything. And hopefully the next time we come to you, we'll have some more stuff to talk about. So maybe we'll get into a little bit more recruiting, who they kind of target, and maybe we'll do some stuff like that. But yeah, man, it's been a good 7 days for the Bearcats, man. Like just flat out great 7 days. Make sure y'all subscribe to the website. Not subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe that. Trying to get to 1K, man. Help us get to 1K faster than slower. So we can get to 1K and get that little badge. And then yeah, man, follow us, man. Follow the Front Office News. We'll follow Front Office News on Twitter. You follow my man Neil on Twitter. You give your tag, man. It should be on my live on my Twitter right now. This actual
it
pod.
Is Meyer Neal 6.
Cool. I'll be getting yours confused with your IG one, so I don't be wanting to mess that up.
Yeah,
so,
the IG one's different.
Yeah. So make sure y'all. You get that old one canceled? Is that one canceled? Like,
yeah, I canceled that one.
Hey, my man Neil got hacked, man. That's how you know he's popular, man. He got hacked. Somebody hacked him.
Yep.
They try to keep you down. Try to keep my man down, man. But he bounced back.
We bounced back though.
He bounced back. Cool. Yep. So that's how we're gonna end this pod, man. So make sure you guys check it out. And we'll be back, man. We'll be back. Try to come back next week and talk a little junk, even if it's for a quick second. So I'm JT Smith.
And I'm Neil Meyer.
All right, guys. We signing out.